Hello there everyone, and welcome to a new series on this channel that I'm calling Battle Mechanics. This is going to be a series going over the mechanics of two certain Empire of War mods made by the Steiner Modding Group, or SMG for short. These mods are Awakening of the Clone Wars, the one I'm currently playing through on this channel, and Awakening of the Rebellion, which will be receiving a huge major update hopefully soon. Seeing as these mods are made by the same team, there isn't really too many differences between the two, but I'll still be going over them separately. If anyone wants to know more about these mods, I will leave a link to their Discord channel in the description down below. The mod I will be starting with is Awakening of the Clone Wars, seeing as that's the one I am most familiar with as of recording this. Also, I am waiting for that new update to come out for AOTR. As you probably saw from the title, this one is going to be about infrastructure, which in a way is kinda just a fancier word for buildings. Each faction has their own set of structures, both ground and in space, with some being shared between the two, like mining facilities or turbo lasers. These structures are going to be placed into three categories: production, economy, and defense. And there would be a fourth, but I won't be going into detail with technology. There's probably enough there for its own video, especially for considering both sides in the same one. So that'll be for the future. I'll be discussing ground structures first, and then move up to space. And because the original script was way too long, I decided to split this one into two videos, one for each faction. This one is going to be about the Republic. And before I continue, I just want to say that anything I say in this video, or future ones, may change. The mod is still getting updates and balance tweaks, but as of recording this video, this info is still applicable. First up are the production buildings. The Republic has 4 ground production facilities, these being barracks, commando barracks, factories, and the Jedi Academy / Jedi Temple. Almost all of these structures can be upgraded to build more advanced or just simply bigger units. These are just their starting points. The barracks come in 3 forms: simple, standard, and elite, with the elite barracks being limited to certain planets, meaning these cannot be built everywhere. Each version of these structures have their own benefits, so just because you see that upgrade icon for something, that doesn't mean you should click it. Leaving that alone may be better, but that just depends on what you want to do with them. The simple barracks is the initial version of the structure, and it's where you build judicial troopers. Most structures are able to spawn in units during a battle if that structure is present. This one spawns in regular judicial troopers. These numbers here represent how many you get. You don't get infinite spawns like in the base game. First number is how many spawn at a time, second is how many are in reserves. For this example, 2 judicial trooper squads can be active at once, and if one dies, another will spawn. If another one dies, another spawns, and then if any more die, well, that's it, no more left. Standard barracks are where you train all of your standard clones, both phase 1 and 2. This will be the same for the other barracks. You can build regular, anti-armor, and paratroopers, with those ones being phase 2 exclusive. The elite barracks are where you build your clone legions, also still including the regular troopers as well, but just the regs, not the other types. The 501st, the 212th, and the 104th are available for both phases, while the others are just phase 2 exclusive. Although still technically a barrack structure, the commando barracks acts as its own thing, separate from the main barracks. These can only be built on specific worlds, like Camino for example. This is where you get all of your clone commanders, both generic and named, as well as your special forces. Now to something that isn't infantry for a change. Factories come in 3 forms: light, medium, and heavy, with light factories being accessible on any world, while the others are only on worlds that allow them. Light factories build lighter and more accessible or more common vehicles. Many of these vehicles are supportive units meant to be paired with the larger vehicles or infantry. Mediums are where you get some of the larger vehicles, most of them being troop transports. These are typically the backbones of most armies, like the ATTE, for example. Heavy factories build the Republic's largest vehicles, most acting as artillery pieces. Other than being a long-range support, some of these can also be the backbone of an invasion force, like the A6 Juggernaut. Jedi Academies have a total build limit of 5, meaning only 5 of these can be built at a time throughout the galaxy. If one gets destroyed or sold, another can be built. Academies can be upgraded to a Jedi Temple if the one at Coruscant is destroyed or sold. Cause yeah, you could totally have the Jedi Temple moved somewhere other than Coruscant. Academies are where you get generic Jedi, with a couple of them being non-combat oriented. The Temple is similar, still allowing for generic Jedi, but also named Jedi like Yoda or Mace Windu. Unlike the base game and some other mods, and also from the CIS, only one of these structures can be built per planet. So to boost unit production, the Republic can build these warehouses that boost production speed by 33% for whatever that warehouse is specified for. These are the small arms and mechanized warehouses. Small arms boost infantry and droids, while mechanized boost vehicles and air units. These also give an additional 10 population, and only one of each can be built per planet. Population? What's population again? Oh, yeah, it's this. This number is your galactic population. Every unit and some structures add on to this number. If that number reaches its maximum amount, you can no longer produce anything or build any structures that require population. So, structures like warehouses or other PopCap structures are necessary to keep that number up, as well as expanding your territory.
Look, Chewie, someone left a whole lot of money just lying around here.
Alright, that's it for ground production. Now we switch things up to economy. Other than, of course, mines, the only economic structure the Republic has is the Senator's Office, which can be upgraded to a Republic administration building. I may as well go over mines real quick, because these still count as economic structures. They give 300 credits a week, and they boost freighter income by 100% when one is stationed over that planet. And only 2 of these can be built per planet if it is a mining world. It isn't much, but it's still very much worth getting though, as these are massive income upgrades. Now for something a bit more interesting, the Senator's Office gives 75% of the planet's base income, as well as 50 additional credits per week, additional population of 2, and the same freighter bonus from before. What is base income though? Well, I'll tell you. A planet's base income is how much that planet is making just by itself, nothing on it. You can find this number, as well as everything else that is either making or costing you money on a planet, just by clicking on whatever planet you want and hovering your mouse over the total amount the planet is making, just to the right of the planet name here. So structures like this one should be built on worlds that have higher base income values to make the most bang for your buck. But of course, money is money, so these can go anywhere you want and they'll still work. Now the Republic administration is a bit of a different story. Basically, if you can build one of these somewhere, do it. They are very much worth the investment. Seeing as this is a direct upgrade from the Senator's Office, it'll be mostly similar, but still better. Very much better. 150% of the planet's base income, as well as a bonus 100 credits, additional population of 6, the same freighter bonus from before, and allows you to build all of your minor heroes both on the ground and in space. Need I say more? Now for ground defense. Both sides have very similar defense structures with only a couple of differences. Of course, most buildings can aid in the defense of a planet due to them spawning in units, but these structures are purely built for defense purposes, with the exception of this first one, the power generator. Power generators are essential for digging in and making sure the enemy doesn't get through, or at least give them heavy casualties. Building a power generator allows for the construction of 3 other structures: turbo lasers, shield generators, both starter shields and base shields, and a ground-to-space weapon. Starting with turbo lasers, these are big guns that are most effective against vehicles and not really infantry. They technically do work against infantry, but their shots are very inaccurate and they only kill one guy at a time. Hi, editing me here. So while I was getting footage, I realized there was something about the turbo laser that I missed. That being, their shots deal splash damage against infantry. The shots are still wildly inaccurate but when they hit more than just the one guy at a time, like I originally thought they did. I just feel like I had to clear that up. Anyways, back to past me. Once built, a set amount of turbo lasers will be placed around the map in mostly defendable places, with the amount of turbo lasers depending on the map. Some maps only have like 2 or 3 turbo lasers, while some can have like 5 or 6. And as far as I know, there really isn't a way to know how many you are getting unless you build them. And thankfully, if you zoom in as far as you can on a planet or click base layout, you can see exactly where these turbo lasers are. Shutter shields prevent all bombing runs and orbital bombardments in a large area around the generator. These can also be upgraded to a base shield generator. Base shield generators, on the other hand, protect everything inside the shield bubble from everything outside the bubble. Friendly forces can still shoot through, but enemy forces cannot, no matter which side of the shield they are on. Unfortunately, these protect smaller areas compared to shutter shields, but both have their purposes and are very useful, so plan ahead whether you want one or the other. Both sides have their own version of a ground-to-space weapon, but I will only be going over the one the Republic has, which is the ground planetary turbo laser. They only affect the space battle, if there is one, and are very powerful. Do not underestimate them. They do have a hard time hitting smaller or more mobile targets, so it's best to target them at ships that are not moving, or at frigates, cruisers, or bigger. Those will have the highest chances of hitting. Ground planetary turbo lasers fire 5 individual shots at a time, dealing huge damage, either crippling or outright killing the target. These do not pierce through the shields, however, so they have to go through that first to deal the real damage. Or you should try to disable the shields first before firing. Although if you're firing at something like a Munificent, for example, they go down real quick. All it takes just 3 out of 5 shots to connect, and that ship goes from full health and shields to a burning wreck. Going back to the power generator for a second, because there are a couple more things it does. It boosts turret power by 20%, so these things are punching a lot harder than before, and they boost building production time by 20%. But only buildings and not units. Last thing to know with the power generator is if it is destroyed while those other structures are built, they will not be powered for the rest of that battle, or future battles unless it can be rebuilt in time. The last defense building is the garrison building. Both sides technically have their own version of this, but they basically do the same thing. The Republic has 2 variants of this: the outpost, which is the initial version, and the stronghold. What these do is they will spawn in a randomized defense force with size depending on the level of the structure. They also spawn in some not randomized units as well to help flesh out the forces given, or capture stuff because you could be given all units that cannot capture, so having these extras prevent that from happening. Defense structures typically have the biggest credit upkeep, so even though they are such a big help, they come at a cost over time. So watch that income there. You do not want that to be negative because it can. A planet having negative income isn't a terrible thing to happen, you just don't want that to happen everywhere. Now we move up to space. In orbit, the only way you're going to build anything, and I mean anything, is by first building the main dockyard, which during a battle acts as the garrison building in space, giving you a randomized defense fleet that gets better with higher levels. Not all planets can have even tier 2 dockyards, let alone tier 3. That's what these little dots are next to the planet. Wait, hang on, I forgot to turn on all the things. My bad. This one is the one I'm talking about, just so you know. Don't forget to turn on all the things. These are very helpful to have on. Just while we're here, I may as well mention now that every planet has a different space defense level that affects what defense structures can be built there. And not all the production shipyards can be built everywhere either. And just like on the ground, only a certain amount of buildings can be present at a time. If you don't know what the defense level is or what can be built there, whether it's in space or on the ground, just hover your mouse over the planet name or zoom in on it. This will tell you all the info you will need about that planet. I won't be going too into detail with the weapon systems on the defense structures, just to save time here, so I'll leave those out. Besides, I'll be going over all the types of weapons in a future video, if I continue this anyways. Shipyards are pretty much the same between the two factions, with the only real difference being in the names. Advanced fighter shipyards produce your fighters, bombers, and corvettes. Advanced cruiser shipyards build frigates and cruisers. Advanced warship shipyards, try saying that 5 times fast, produce larger cruisers, capital ships, and super capital ships. There are no separate structures that boost production speed for space units, so to boost production speed, you can build up to 2 of each shipyard per planet to cut build times in half for whatever those shipyards are intended for.
I'm just gonna borrow their credits.
Back to economy now. Yay. The Republic has 2 economic stations, trade stations, and population centers. And of course space mines too, but they are basically the same as ground mines, but they give 400 credits instead of 300, so they're a bit more valuable. They can also move around too during a space battle. Plus, something funny, the CIS needs tech to even be able to build these. Insert laugh here. Trade stations are where you build your Gazanti freighters, and they give 75% of the planet's base income, as well as a bonus 50 credits, and boost freighter income by 100% when one is stationed over that planet. They have a build limit of 2 per planet, and if those 2 are built, freighter production gets boosted by, I'm assuming, 20%, even though it says space building construction time. They're not the same thing.
Trust me, I've done the research.
Pop centers, as the name suggests, provide an additional 10 population per, and also have a build limit of 2. Though, 2 of these are not needed to get the space building construction speed bonus they provide. Just 1. And yes, they only affect structures, not units. Did I forget anything? Oh, right! To gas mines. Yes, so they give you 500 credits per, so basically, get them if you can. They're very, very good.
Bomber incoming. Repeat, bomber incoming.
For space defense, the Republic has 4 individual stations: Firestar 1, Firestar 2, Golan 1, and Golan 2. Like I stated earlier, I won't be going over their weapon systems, insert amount of weapons there are here, but I will give you a description for what, at least what I think, their roles are meant to be. Firestar 1s are meant to fill an anti-fighter, or corvette, or frigate role. If it ain't got targetable subsystems, then this thing can easily deal with them. If they get close enough, that is. Plus, it also spawns in a good amount of V-19s, and has a supplement drop ability to help nearby fighters. Firestar 2s provide long-range fire support with its armor pierce ability, so it can punch a bit higher than the Firestar 1, and it has Y-wings instead of V-19s. These are not the tankiest stations out there, but the others are a bit better for that. Firestar 1s are defense level 1 structures, meaning these can be built everywhere, while the 2s are level 2 structures. Just like the Firestar 2, the next one here, the Golan 1, is also a level 2 structure. Golan 1s fill more of a fleet support role than the others, kinda like a Picket for example. Its weaponry are on the lighter side of things, really only good against smaller ships. Plus, they have the laser defense ability, which shoots down any enemy missiles, rockets, or torpedoes. Golan 2s are the big boys for the Republic. These are able to take a bit of a beating and dish out lots of damage at the same time. And they have the tractor beam ability. You'd want these on worlds that you do not want to lose, if you can build them there of course. In a 1v1, I bet this could destroy a Providence. Easy.
A few moments later.
Yep, it definitely can. There are a couple of honorable mentions here, because there are actually more buildings the Republic have, and one is located on Naboo. The Naboo security base is only on Naboo and acts as a local garrison building, spawning in units native to that planet. These can be paired well with a stronghold to get even more units, seeing as it's a completely different structure. So Naboo can be quite the pain to invade for the CIS. The other structure is the Capitol building, by default located on Coruscant. This takes the main strengths of the stronghold and the administration combined to form something even better. They have a large defense garrison and some additional units. Also, they give 1,000 credits a week, additional population of 75, and that same freighter bonus from other structures. Only one of these can be active at a time. These are absolute must-keeps. You cannot lose these no matter what. I believe that's it for the structures. Real quick, I just want to reiterate, this is just for Awakening of the Clone Wars. Some of this info may carry over to other mods, but if you want info on other mods as well, like any of the Empire War Expanded mods, there are other channels out there that go over mechanics like I am within the series. The next one, after of course the CIS structures, might be going over the other factions and the diplomacy system. Shouldn't have to cut that one in half like this one had to. Please let me know if the information in this video was helpful, and I will continue making more of these. This video was a long time in the making, but I hope it was worth it. So, leave a comment, a like, you know how it goes. See ya guys.